and it's like, it's so fucked up. It's like, dude, come on. Like, that.
Smoke a cigarette.
So you vibe whoever you want to vibe with.
Back and forth.
He's a Zionist.
Is he like Black Rabbi? Is he like of that ilk of his?
So he served in the military. I think he's PTSD. He's suffering from PTSD. His understanding is, I found out through Zach that comes in here sometimes. He's back in the audience. His understanding is that whatever we said here in public, we should be able to say it on YouTube. That opened up, they should have the ability to kick out an anonymous account without knowing the person, just remove out of the room. And that's the part I just don't get. I mean, we don't want anonymous accounts because they could be spying, doing a whole bunch of shit. I think what Clubhouse did is because to create more drama. And this does create more drama. You see what I'm saying? Here we are talking about it. You see what I'm saying?
And I want everyone to know, especially like whoever the fuck is recording. I don't give a fuck. I want everyone to know, just so you know, my Jewish baby daddy, he does not fucking support Israel either. So fuck you. He doesn't support them fucking either. So
he's a self-hating Jew.
Yeah. And in some ways, I'm not going to say he's self-hating, but I'll say that he is very critical of his own people, which is like be able to critique your own people, which is ridiculous.
Well, you know how we feel about critiquing Israel. It's really just kind of a taboo thing to do in society. I was just checking out the Stop Anti-Semites on Twitter, and I came across this guy from Manhattan Beach, Douglas Eli, realtor, Igor. He claims Israel did 9/11, calls Zionists Nazis, accuses Jews of stealing Palestinian organs, which is true. I just don't get it, bro. What is wrong with that? I told you, you should stop calling them Nazis. Stop calling us Nazis. Nazis don't like us. Yeah, I should call them it's like calling Americans Iraqis or Iraqis Americans. It doesn't make sense. I should call you guys terrorists. Ah, jeez, that's a lot better. He's a terrorist. I mean, that's true in the Middle East, right? If you even at ChatGPT, the first terrorist attack was just like Felicity said earlier. I looked it up, I think, a couple of weeks ago. The first terrorist attack was done by a Jewish militia and British men in Palestine. And it is disturbing now. How could you people 6.6% of the land that you bought?
They were basically, it's kind of easy when you look at actual history because, you know, history is written by the victors. Everyone should know that. History, you look into the history books, you cannot actually trust the history books because history is written by the victors. At the end of the day, like, it's written by the victors. So when you look at like Palestine and everything, you know, associated with it, the British people, they were literally basically like against the, you know, against British people. So it was like to the point where, like, if you're not aware of like the history and everything, the British people were like, fuck it. We're gonna just here's Palestine. You can have it. Turn it into Israel. Like, go ahead, have it. Because y'all keep killing our people. We were occupying Palestine. We were colonizers, and that's what the British people do. They colonize. They colonize so many countries. They colonize India. They colonize so many parts of Asia. Stop committing these terrorist acts.
I have a question for you, Felicity. From what site do you obtain all this Hamas propaganda from?
That's hilarious. No, it's funny because they call everything Hamas.
Serious question. What are your sources?
That's hilarious.
What are your sources?
We got some good news for you. So there's this person in Utah. He refused to serve Zionists at his Utah bar. Owner Michael Valentine, right, announces on social media he's shutting down. because they've been harassing him, right? Because of this anti-Semitism bullshit, right? And they doxed him on the staff. It probably is. It probably is. Oh my God! He changed his name to something else now. Al, what do you think about the brother that's sitting in the audience? Read his name. What do you think about his name? Al,
His name exactly?
just go scroll down in the House members. Click on Abu and just read the full name to the room. What is his full name and what does it represent?
I don't even know how to do all this stuff on the house you're trying to get me to do.
No, just scroll down. Scroll down. You see the little. It says Abu. Abu is in the room.
Oh, he's in the room. Abu.
Yeah, he's in-
It is Abu.
Click on Abu. Read his full name.
Obeida,
Yeah. What does he represent?
the spokesman of Hamas,
Oh my
an
God.
international terrorist organization and a proxy of Iran.
There's no proxy. Where's the connection? Can you show me statements of the Iran funding Hamas? Thing?
As IRGC, it's an extension of the IRGC. The IRGC is a state sponsor of terror. According to
The funding in the hands of Hamas.
We've gone over this every day, multiple times a day. There was another terrorist organization called the PLO, which needed to be subdued. And so, Netanyahu gave money to Hamas to subdue a different terrorist organization.
So what about now? And Shin Bet gave alerted Netanyahu not to fund Hamas. If you do that, it's going to be used for military wing, not for political wing, right? So why did he keep funding? I mean, you support a terrorist, right? You become one. So he's a terrorist. Isn't Netanyahu a terrorist?
Yeah, Mrs. Honest Jew was bothering me, distracting me while you were talking there. But I stand by my claim. Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthis are all terrorist organizations and proxies of Iran, and they're all just there to bother.
But Hezbollah was created. Why was it created, though?
It was created to hate Jews.
It was created to fight off the Israelis in Lebanon because you guys took over Lebanon.
Look, the only reason they wanted to fight against us is because we're Jews. If we were Arabs, Hezbollah never would have formed. They would have accepted our rulership. They have no problem being ruled by Arabs. They just don't like being ruled by Jews.
Like trying to convince Americans, I'm sure he went to it looked like it was some sort of public thing. So I think it was Congress or something. I'm okay with it because I think he's trolling.
This
guy, bro.
All those countries you listed, they have one thing in common. They all supported so-called Palestine.
Nobody gets that.
Holy shit. That's so cheap. It's to Northeast.
Our tire,
Oh,
65.
okay, you looked it up. Okay, dating tires. Let's talk about Roger. What Roger do? Didn't we create a whole genre?
No.
Funk
No.
music? Hold on. You niggas from Cali wouldn't be shit without dating
You
niggas.
said Ja
Let's get to that. Funk, nigga. You wouldn't have.
Okay, who came
A lot of you
from
niggas.
Dayton? Who came from Dayton, basically?
Who came from Dayton? Roger Trout, Boosie Collins, Ohio players. I mean, the list goes on and on. Can I know what? What's up, huh? Are you drunk?
They was out here before.
Are you drunk? Let's
They left before it was broke.
Nah, it wasn't. Nah, they got
No, sir.
Oh, okay. This nigga's 65. You know the
No, sir.
Break it down.
No.
Break it down, huh? Break it down. What happened? What happened after
Okay, who
65?
came out of Dayton?
I just told you, Unc, and you know. Stop playing like you don't fucking know, nigga.
Industry went straight down.
We created a whole genre of music, nigga. Funk, nigga. You niggas wouldn't know. The East Coast niggas Snoop wouldn't be Snoop, but if it wasn't for the Dayton niggas.
That's West Coast.
Y'all, the West Coast wouldn't be shit if it wasn't for Midwest niggas.
Well, I mean, you're separate. Well, right. To you, you think that he's gone along with it, but the reality, and this is what I brought up about the LGBTQ, which was when that Obergefell decision came or was released from the U.S. or from the Supreme Court, the transgenders were saying that it was a win for them.
They were
because of gender identity.
Yeah.
So there is, in my eyes, there is no separation because you can't have one without the other because that's how
people from the military and not gay people or lesbian people or even bisexual people from the military contradicts what you just said.
Specifically against gay marriage, but
he explicitly supported gays in the military. But again, let's not mince words. Trump supports that shit.
Well, again, it's just like when people think that just because what's the guy's name he was the ambassador for Germany. I can't remember what his name is, but he was an openly gay man, and he was in his cabinet. So writing an executive order or doing some policy from the White House that probably he didn't get around to it. He didn't get around to it.
He didn't get around to it.
No, he probably didn't get around to it. So, I mean, like I said. There are certain things that are higher priority than others. Transgenders took on a higher priority.
Why? According to you,
I'll tell you why.
You can't separate one from the other. So why wouldn't he prioritize them together?
Well, again, it starts with one thing and then it goes into another. But
you can't separate them according to you. So if he had enough time to sit down and draft an executive order, he didn't draft any of them, by the way, he just signed them. But if he had time to have an executive order that addresses trans people, why wouldn't he have executive orders that bans gay people from the military? If you can't separate one from the other, that's what you said.
Because everything doesn't have to go in one executive order. He could have done it in other executive orders. But why didn't he at all? He's done hundreds of executive orders already, and he has not one time attempted to ban gays from the military. Not even once. He didn't campaign on it. Transgenders, I'll tell you why. Because transgenders became a larger issue or problem right around, I forget which specific year it was. But it became
was 2015, in case that matters.
Well, again, nobody thought that transgenders was getting ready to explode inside the school districts. They didn't see that coming. A lot of us didn't know that was coming.
Why did you go to the schools? We're talking about the military. Why did you do that?
Right. We're talking about the military, but again, all we're doing is having a conversation about it. That's all. I'm just simply saying, just because Trump did not write it in an executive order doesn't mean that wasn't on his radar.
But Trump supports gay military and doesn't seem to have a problem with gay marriage either. So I don't know, bro. Like
I said, there's
how is Trump not liberal
versus what's in an executive order proclamation.
Okay, what do you think my position is on gay marriage?
What do I think? I would think you support it.
I do. I have the same position Trump does. So how come he's not a liberal, but I am a liberal according to you?
Because I've had conversations with you about a whole bunch of stuff. So I haven't had a conversation.
Both like the prices, but they were not stopping us. Like, why the fuck are they even paying 1 shekel? They're getting the same for free for the last. The way we post the prices, they don't ask like how come there are even prices? Why are there even a market opening in restaurants? And who's benefiting from this?
That's it, bro. That's a little bit longer, but this was them yesterday crying in a room. I mean, I told you to come join us, but you missed it, bro. They were all crying in a room, man.
I actually talked, right, in relate to this whole situation how they're going to occupy, because They have their families that have to serve in the military.
Actually, yesterday they were all cussing Amos out because he's saying that they lost, and for them, they think that they won. So,
Wow.
Track for that, his whole family. I mean, it's crazy, but so he will be the wealthiest man. He will,
I know my fellow Jews' voices like I know my own voice.
well, like yesterday, they were sitting in the room and they're just crying. They're like, why is this happening to us? Like, now we're isolated. The whole world is against us. Motherfucker, if the whole world is against you, like, how the fuck can you even ask the question, why is the world against us?
Yeah,
Clearly,
exactly. It's stupid. It's like it's not even just because you're fucking committing a fucking genocide against people and you're starving them out and you're like starving children and women out, which is fucked up. Like, it's not enough that you're literally committing a genocide. You're starving these people out, and the whole world understands that you're starving these people out. Literally, no one fucks with you. No one fucks with you because you're fucking starving kids and women, and even men. Like, you're starving these people out, but that's not enough. It's also the fact that people understand that you're also controlling our politicians in the U.S. through blackmail. The AIPAC is literally controlling our politicians. You have like people who are on the Epstein list, and they are being blackmailed. They know that they can't say anything against Israel. They can only blindly support them because Israel has all this blackmail on them, and or they're being paid off through thousands of dollars or millions of dollars, depending on who you are. You're being, you have thousands or millions of dollars being funded towards your campaign, so it's ridiculous.
I don't think it's money. The thing is, there's always going to be a higher bidder. Think about the money that the Saudis have. If it was being bought, anybody can buy you. Money's not the issue. I think it's blackmail material. I think it's very, very sensitive information. If it comes out, you're done for. It's something much deeper than money. 100%.
Very, very likely. I agree. Very, very likely. But it's also the money that they get because a lot of these politicians are just, the thing is, and I forgot what his name was, but there's a congressman. I think his name is Thomas Massey. What's his name? He's a U.S. congressman, and he says he's one of the few people in Congress who's not funded by AIPAC. And AIPAC is the American Israeli.
Fuck you motherfucker. I won't go to
What are you talking about?
Who is this? What is going on?
Guys talking to you. I have to go take care.
yeah, that was it.
Like I was saying, yeah, it's for sure. I think that for sure it's like some Epstein type stuff.
There's two people talking at the same time. I can't hear what she's saying about the congressman.
Do you know how you know they're lying?
What happened to the congressman?
No, I was just saying that in Congress. So I was just saying that in Congress, there was a congressman. His name is, I believe, Thomas Massey, and he said that he's a congressman. He's a Republican, and he said that in Congress, everyone has an AIPAC man. Basically, pretty much almost all Congress people have an AIPAC man, and their AIPAC man is someone who basically, they're like a dual citizen. They work for Israel, and they kind of like instruct you on what you can and cannot say. And so they basically, they fund, like, they give money to people in Congress, but depending on who you are, if you're of a higher status, they'll give you more money. If you're of a lower status, they'll give you a little bit less money. But if you're someone like Biden or something like that, they'll give you a lot more. They'll give you like millions of dollars in funding and stuff like that. But I do believe what Ace was saying, I do believe that it goes farther than just the AIPAC stuff. It's also about blackmail.
I heard there was something strange about the source. I heard there's something strange about the source of the AIPAC funding, that it's actually the federal government that funds it, but not directly. They fund it through the businesses that contribute to AIPAC, but they give them federal contracts. like they gave them like billions in federal government contracts, and because of that, the companies that are able to contribute make large donations to AIPAC. Does anybody know anything about that?
You know what? Hold on, Amir. Why don't you make her provide the link? These are baseless and unsubstantiated claims. Okay, you're making these conspiracy theories. Usually when Amir
I'm not making it, I was asking.
Yes,
that's what I heard.
You're just pulling stuff out of the ether at this point. You're grasping at straws.
All right, you can say whatever you'd like, but I had asked, I put the question out there so that it could be answered.
And I hope nobody answers your question. No one answers.
I hope they do. I hope they do.
You don't need to answer that.
Well, if he says it, then. Yeah, see, so Amir, what do you know about that? I saw somebody else putting up the 100, like they were in agreement with it.
No, they were saying that when I started talking.
No, they were saying that before you started talking.
I don't think so.
It's like when I was talking. I do.
Yeah, well.
But I'm fully prepared for it to not be true. I mean, I don't think it's a bad strategy. If it is, I actually think it's quite brilliant. I mean, if you think about it.
What, to blackmail people?
No.
His shirt is soaking wet. His shirt is soaking wet, so he got 2 more pounds from the sweat. He 116.
Hey, bring him into the
was the 1996 immigration bill, which gave us what? 11 million people deported using expedited removals. Obama's numbers don't even begin to compare, and you're sitting talking like in this modern day terms and don't even know where it goes back to.
Yes, I do. The program itself. So let me check. Biden
also did expedited removals of 3.3 million without due process. Now nobody talks about this, bro.
They will, right. If they're told,
just because you laugh at it doesn't make it wrong.
Hold on, Jason. If they're told something, no matter how ridiculous it sounds,
you can get the numbers. You can get the deportation numbers from the
media because the media said it.
The government reports these numbers. You can go to the Department of Homeland Security and get these numbers. It's not difficult. Like why are you acting like these numbers aren't on the government websites?
Because he's going to fit his narrative. Now, if you want to make the argument it doesn't count the 3.3 that he removed by expedited removal only, there's another 1.1 million that he removed by formal. If you want to say they don't count because he opened the border and 20 million or whatever ridiculous number you're going to come up with, that overshadows it, then make that argument, but make it articulate and don't deny the fact that he removed over 4 million people.
Okay.
These are facts, Christian.
Okay, so the estimated dreamer population.
And let me just be clear.
It's 3 point. When it comes to that.
Can I hear what Christian has to say?
Plus 535 plus 1.1. So 4. So basically like 5 million people. Basically.
What's your source?
Immigrationforum.org, Pew Research, yeah. So,
sorry, Pew Research or
PewResearch.org and then immigrationforum.org.
Okay, which one is your source?
Both.
Okay, can you put them in the chat, please? So yeah, that'd be great.
Sorry, what was the? Okay, so it's 5 billion were dreamers.
535 are DACA, 3.4 are dreamers, and 1.1 are TPS.
And this is all under Obama.
Million with an M.
Yeah.
Not billion. What? We don't have
nobody says billion. I don't know where it came from.
Adam said that.
And this is under Obama.
No, that's the
starting with Obama in 2012 into Biden because the policy was continued.
Yeah, but we're sticking to Obama here. Like, let's keep it focused.
No.
That's what you were claiming.
The policy started under Obama, and Obama instructed Biden to start it, and then when Biden got in, and then of course when Trump got into office, he started rolling back the policy. And of course you had Obama's administration parading around in their positions at public universities, filing lawsuits to stop Trump from reversing or rescinding the policy. So the policy was stuck in the courts for several years. And so finally, once Biden took office, he just opened up the reins back up. So you have to start the policy at where Obama created it in 2012, and then continue it all the way on up until pretty much the 2025, where Trump had the ability to stop it.
Okay, so 5 million's the number. And Trump and Biden, is that right?
No, Obama and Biden.
Obama and Biden, pardon me, is 5 million. And then what was the total deportations between Obama and Biden?
I mean, you're gonna have to say that. I mean, I don't believe any of those numbers. I don't cite that crap.
Okay, so if we find Pew Research sourcing on the number of deportations.
By the way, you haven't provided the Pew.
Immigration form link is posted.
I know, but the Pew one, the Pew Research.
Wait, do we know who started Pew? I mean, you do know that the direction it leads, right?
Say that again.
You do know who funds Pew, right?
It doesn't matter who funds Pew. I just cited it as
their money from.
I don't even know what that has anything to do with the conversation. I don't. That's totally irrelevant.
I'm just saying, if you're going to quote Pew, shouldn't we know who funds them?
I mean, who cares at this point? I don't. That's
Let me ask you a question.
Irrelevant.
Do you know that Donald Trump offered DACA permanent status and a pathway to citizenship, and the Democrats?
Yes, he did. And the incompetent fools inside of the United States Congress balked at the idea.
It's a yes or no. So you claim that Trump doesn't care about
obviously that's a yes. Obviously that's a yes.
Answer yes. I don't need to hear you ramble. So how do you claim that Trump is so
I can stop talking to you. If you're going to insult me, I can stop talking to you.
I'm not trying to insult you. I'm just saying let other people talk. Yes or no is yes or no, and then let somebody speak.
Don't tell me how to answer a question.
Okay.
All right, Christian, back to me. So it just seems like your judgment for whether or not a person is either a liberal or a rhino, which you said are basically equivalent to liberals, is basically if they deviate too far from what you think is true. That seems to be your criteria. And I'm wondering if you acknowledge the existence of moderates and independents at all.
Not in 2025. No.
Why not? What was the last year that there existed a liberal / moderate? Sorry, a moderate / independent.
I could say the same thing in 2020.
Okay, but what year was the last year that moderates existed according to you? When did they go extinct?
I would say when Trump became a candidate, from that point on, the people who claim to be moderates were not moderates.
What did they become? Liberals?
It depends on what their position was.
Okay. Well, I thought Trump was a bowl of shit. I definitely wasn't voting for him in 2016.
Well, again, that's your opinion. That's what you think.
No, I know, but I'm saying, does that make me a liberal or can an independent not like Trump and not vote for Trump? Can a moderate? Go ahead.
It's possible for an independent not to like Trump and be a so-called moderate, but you're talking about, again, very a person could say that they're moderate, but they support abortion up to the moment of birth and the position of the LGBTQ. So
I consider myself a moderate Republican.
So I mean, do you acknowledge Marshall? But again, that's totally different discussion.
Wait. But do you acknowledge him as a moderate, or do you think he's something else?
Who do I acknowledge? Marshall. Who's the moderate?
Marshall.
I don't know all of Marshall's positions, but
you don't know all my positions, but you call me a liberal. Hold on, wait a minute. You don't know all my positions.
I've never had a discussion with Marshall on his position, so I don't know. I've talked to you about several positions.
That's true, but you don't know all my positions. Name 3 and 2 of them were wrong.
No, they weren't.
You said I was for open borders. I'm not for open borders. That's a lie.
You're for modern. Say that they were undocumented.
Does he?
Say that they were undocumented.
Does he? Does he know what a quarter of never mind.
I never said that they were undocumented. Matter of fact, I'm quoting what the Center for Immigration Studies has said, the director, the executive director. He said, we have 250 million people living in the United States right now. We don't need any more immigration. We don't need any more. That's what he said.
We have more than that, though.
Also Stephen Miller, who's also said that, no, we do not need any more immigration. All of the experts who claim all these things about the workforce and about the birth rate and about all this bull crap about how the United States is not going to survive and all this this nonsense about farming and trade, it's all bull crap.
Nonsense. Your argument is nonsense.
I don't care what you think. I'm not talking to you.
There's 40 million. You're quoting false numbers.
So back to Jason. So you have all these people that are on television repeating over and over about how the United States cannot survive without every other country and all of its resources and all of its additional people that it can add to our population. They continue to tell the public, the citizens of the United States, that if we cut off ourselves from the world, that the United States will end up in a depression and a recession. It is bull crap. It's nonsense. And then you have all the narratives about how we can't do the jobs that non-citizens currently have in information technology and farming and all of these other. It is bull crap. Absolutely bull crap.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
It isn't.
I mean, you can point to any job economy. Let's start with farming. What the hell do we have in Georgia? Alabama. Out of high school, have I been competing against people outside the United States? All businesses, mom and pop shops. I have always competed against non-citizens, and there has always been black U.S. citizens, white U.S. citizens, Hispanic U.S. citizens, all that have the same skills that I've had while
incentives for foreign-born workers with precarious immigration statuses to do those jobs for cheaper. That's the thing. That's why there's so many of them doing those jobs. And the irony is that a lot of the places that you named have a significant amount of foreign workers in their workforce, even in the South, ironically. And then you also left out a couple of places like California, where there's a lot of them. There's so many, and then Texas and Arizona.
I said I left out a whole bunch of places.
Okay, fair enough. But the only point I'm making is like
the South doesn't have as many non-citizen workers.
There's a significant. That's true, but there's a significant portion of the workforce, and it's not just agriculture.
Okay, but some of our best farmers are in the South. So
that's fine. That's not in any way contradicting what I'm saying. But I guess I'm trying to point out to you is that it's not laughable. It's just factually true that a lot of the jobs that these foreign-born workers do, Americans do not want to do at that price point. That is a fact.
It's not true. It's not true.
It's 100% true.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
It is.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
And the government makes regulation, rules, and policy and taxes that ensure that the U.S. citizen, whether private U.S. citizen or business, small business, mom and pop shop, corporation, they write policy to ensure that those businesses or citizens cannot expand. And then you add on the trade policy that devastates the U.S. economy, but it is only due to the politicians that are doing it or allowing it to happen. Actual politicians that were not doing some of the things that some of these people do to give up person. That's the whole reason why so many families eventually end up being broken apart because the lack of opportunity that there is to start a family business and then continue it through multiple generations. But it's only because of the taxes and rules and regulations that come raining down from the federal government and even the state government. That's the only reason that happens.
That's not true either.
Yes, it is. It's taxes. It's taxes and it's trade. Those are the main. Those are the main two things.
That's not true. You've been wrong for like 15 minutes straight now. It's like incredible. I'm actually impressed. Yeah, like you just been wrong about almost all your.
Like you said that I was wrong about the election and all those other things. And
yes, you were wrong. The 2020 election was not stolen. You were wrong. And then you said that Trump wouldn't win the 2024 election, and you were wrong again.
Well, again, I've already said that I was wrong about the 2024 elections. Somehow Trump figured out how to dig himself out of the hole that he was in those counties.
Trump beat the deep state.
But in regards to 2020,
yeah.
Hold on. I was told that there's going to be some things that come out about 2020. And when they come out, I'll come back out here and we'll talk about them.
Wait, when is that going to happen?
It's apparently going to happen while Trump is still in the White House. It's going to happen.
But that's anywhere between now and 2028.
Yeah, anywhere between now and then. Just like I told you about birthright citizenship. I told you that it was going to be overruled or overturned.
But it hasn't been overruled or overturned.
Trump, the Supreme Court gave Trump the ability to do the policy. No,
it hasn't been adjudicated yet. So wait,
hold on. They've allowed Trump to implement the policy. They're going back.
No, they haven't.
Yes, they have.
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 No, they haven't.
Okay, you can say that as much as you want to, but the Supreme Court is allowed.
They have not allowed Trump to.
They're allowing Trump to start the process, and while they go back to the court to rule on the merit, they're going to rule on the merit.
But they haven't ruled on it.
I didn't say that they did. I said that, or basically trying to challenge his ability to do an executive order proclamation or executive action. That part Trump has won on. So they're going. So the other part of
he has not
merits
mean anything.
Of course, it doesn't mean anything to you. And what was the other thing that we were talking about that you were wrong about? There was one other thing.
I couldn't be wrong about that. By the way, they're not going to rule his favor. There's no way they're going to do that. So you're just wrong about that in general. Not going to rule his favor. There's no way they're going to do that. So you're just wrong about that in general. But there's nothing.
But you're wrong. No, it wasn't. Was it over the fells and transgenders? I don't think it was over the fells and transgenders. It was. I want to say it was one other thing besides this Trump v. Casa case. I can't remember what it was. Once I find it, I'll just send it to you later. Once I find it. But
hey, Christian, how many people are in this country again? Is that 250 million live in this country? I'm trying to get.
I quoted. I'm not even going to answer that. I'm not even going to answer you.
Just if you're going to point out wrong, maybe we got to do it across the board with things where there's actually none.
Well, I have to go to bed soon, so I have one little monkey wrench to throw into your Jason is a liberal stance.
How many people in the room think Jason's a liberal? Like, come on.
No. It doesn't matter. I want. This is between me and Christian. Just to be clear. So, what if I told you I voted for Trump in 2020? Would that still make me a liberal?
I mean, just because you voted for Trump in 2020, that doesn't mean anything. Did you vote for him in 2024?
Of course not, but I voted for him in 2020.
Okay then.
Wait, but I voted for him in 2020, so does that make me a liberal or?
Like I said, just because you cast a ballot for a certain person, that doesn't make you all of a sudden MAGA. There's a lot of people who flip-flop back and forth between parties and candidates and political action committees and all kinds of stuff.
What kind of liberal votes for Trump?
There's a whole. You have a whole libertarian party that has.
Not a libertarian either.
So I mean, it's not that far fetched. That's not anything.
Libertarian is basically just a Republican.
There's left-leaning libertarians, but what's weird is that you're trying to. Like, what kind of liberal votes for Trump?
There's a lot of liberals that have voted for Trump in
disaffected
2020.
Typically, when they
honestly believe that the supporters of Tulsi Gabbard and RFK Jr. changed their party affiliation to Republican after voting for Trump in the 2024 election.
Not that many of their I don't know what the percentages are, but it was. Why do you know it's significant? If you know what it is,
because if you, I've looked at some of the data out of some of the counties.
How come you don't know what it is?
Because you're talking about a very odd number that I would remember off the top of my head. Why would I remember?
What about the ballpark? Like in what range?
I don't know what the range is. I would have to go back and look at the numbers. We're talking about multiple counties. I was looking at Wayne County, Fulton County, all the battlegrounds, Philadelphia County, Milwaukee County, the Clark County. I was looking at those.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know, bro. I'm entertained by the fact that you think I'm a liberal because none of the liberals on this app agree with you at all.
Of course they don't. What do you think they're going to say?
I mean, they usually call me like MAGA or something, which I think is equally funny.
Not even close.
You don't think I can make it as a MAGA person?
No.
I'm not MAGA material, do you?
Nope.
Why not? Why can't I be MAGA?
We already proved that.
Why can't I make it as a MAGA person, bro? You don't think I have the chops?
Because a vast majority of people who consider themselves to be MAGA don't want more immigration.
What do you mean more immigration? Trump even says he wants immigration. Is he?
Okay. Well, he's wrong when he says it.
So wait, if he's wrong, hold up. Didn't you follow it, or didn't you vote for him?
Yeah. So I mean, again, when Trump says that the country is a democracy, he's wrong. So there's no difference in him saying that we need more immigration. No, he's wrong, and much of the base has pushed back and forced him to.
I think this is my last question.
To change what he was planning to do on H-1B visas.
Was Trump wrong to not release the Epstein files? I'm just curious.
I don't care about the Epstein.
You don't care about the Epstein files?
Yeah. Oh, really?
Hold on. So why don't you care about it?
You don't care about the Epstein files, guys.
Who cares? I mean,
hold on. Wasn't that what MAGA was also running on?
I could name 20 issues right now more important than some stupid Epstein files, and I could probably. I could probably name 20 issues going on in the people than Epstein.
Hold up. You don't care, right? But that's what MAGA was also running on. They were saying
there's a small selection. There's a small selection of people that have sat around for the last 10 years obsessing over things on 4chan boards and all this other bull crap.
We're not talking about 4chan board. Didn't Trump tell the Democrats to release the Epstein files?
I don't know, and I don't freaking care. It's not important.
Okay, but that's the president you voted for. Aren't you supposed to follow the president?
I don't. Anything that has to do with Epstein, I don't care. I freaking look.
Okay, so what if Trump is on that list? Do you care then if he's on the list?
I don't care. I don't give a dog on.
So you wouldn't care. So you wouldn't care if our president of the United States of America was out there on the island fucking little kids.
I don't care what anything has to do with that list or that name. I don't care. And I can, like I said, there are so many more.
How about this? What if Obama was on the list?
Epstein is not more important than anything else in this country. It isn't.
It's not just Epstein, though. It's a whole list of people, from probably Democrat to Republican. What are we talking about? You don't care. I care. I don't want a pedophile running the country. But hey, you don't care. That's just you. Republicans. Well, I can't even call you guys Republicans because now the Republicans have gone you guys have gone far left. You guys are snowflakes, essentially.
You found a way to shut him up.
I know, right? And what your name's Christian Lamar. AZ GOP Executive Committee. Yeah, I'm about to do some research into you now.
Oh, now I remember. So, Jason, you were saying that there was no evidence that the 2020 I
put it in the chat. There was no evidence
in the chat. So you were basically saying that that Arizona had no evidence of a stolen election, and the court and the Maricopa County settled in the court on 50,000 non-citizens who voted in the 2020 election, and they should not have been voting in the election. So that 50,000 passes the threshold, which was like 11,000 or 10,000 something votes that decided.
I just pointed out that the court case that you referred to did rule like that. Ruled the opposite. That was what I was pointing out.
They ruled what? They ruled what?
They ruled that was basically bullshit. You talking about the signature verification?
No. These were the people who were registered as non-citizens, and they were given ballots when they should not have been given ballots because of the lack of document. I
didn't make a claim about non-citizens. We were talking about the signature verification.
We were broadly. You were saying you've been saying that there was no evidence that the 2020 election was stolen in Arizona. And we talked at length about the 2020 election in Arizona.
We didn't talk at length about. We didn't talk at length about undocumented people voting. We talked about the signature verification.
But again, even today, you said that there is no evidence that the 2020 election was stolen.
No, you're right. I stand by that, but we didn't talk at length about the thing you just said. That's all I'm trying to say.
Okay. Well, even Maricopa County admitted that 50,000 people who submitted ballots in the 2020 election should not have submitted ballots because they never provided documentary proof of citizenship.
That's not what they said.
Yes,
that's not how it
works. You just put down what they said in the chat. You're lying, Christian. You're lying.
That's not true.
No, you're not. You're lying.
So,
that's not what they said.
The Arizona Attorney General's office has been spending more than 10,000 hours investigating the allegation. Now, no basis for claiming the widespread fraud document released by the Attorney General revealed that the office's own investigators had included the election W.A.
Jason.
You're wrong, Christian. You're wrong.
You don't know what you're talking about. Just be quiet, man.
No, I do know what I'm talking about.
No, you don't.
I just pulled up the fact.
You're talking about an Attorney General report that came well before this case that I'm talking about.
How about you cite the case?
We're talking about the 2020 election, right?
Jason, are you still there?
Hold on, Christian.
No, seriously, are you still there? Jason doesn't want to talk to you because you're making yourself look like a.
Why don't you just cite the case they're talking about?
Yeah, man, bro. I was doing something real quick.
Okay, yeah, man. Okay, so the point I'm making is, since we've been discussing this 2020 issue in Arizona, particularly in Maricopa County, and we have specifically talked about Maricopa County specifically, all the way down to
but we didn't talk about undocumented people voting. We talked about the signature verification.
Correct. Even the signature verification issue, because you didn't know about that, and I had to tell you. And hold on.
I agree.
Okay then. So there have been times where I pointed out.
Hold on. But when I read the court case.
Oh, okay.
The court debunked everything you argued.
Well, no, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
You were unaware of what some of the things that the county was saying in court about signature verification.
Yeah,
you didn't realize.
I agree because I don't live in Arizona. That's fine.
Okay then. So election law did not require Maricopa County to spend more than 1 second checking each signature during signature verification, or basically where they're curing ballots and they're trying to figure out if when they have a failed signature, they're trying to figure out if a signature is valid or not. The law doesn't require the county to spend more than 1 second checking that signature. And
doesn't that mean you need to do the law on your son's
actually, that hasn't even changed because now they're using the Katie Hobbs signature verification standards from 2020 in the law. So
yeah, because that's the governor and the executive of the state. What the fuck are you doing?
Please, so that was the first point, Jason. So now the court, the judge in the case, he actually said that I can't make a ruling on any of this because the law was written by the legislature, and the law allows the county to do signature verification without which they weren't doing.
Change the fucking law and go apply it.
The court ruled that they did it. So you're like,
no. Again, the law doesn't require them to check.
Which means the law wasn't broken.
Well, again, that is why when people get into conversations with people about the 2020 election, and you all say, "Oh, well, the law, well, there's nothing wrong with that because the court said that the law wasn't broken." I mean, if they didn't check any signatures and the county admitted that they don't have any, somebody should have blocked it. Then it means that the election was stolen because they weren't checking signatures.
Again, in such a case, they needed to go and they would have needed to go to a court. They didn't.
No, they didn't fix that. They didn't fix that in a court.
Marco argument.
Marco, you're not need to change your law. Marco, you're not fixing you. You're talking for the last 5 minutes, bro. You can fix that.
Disjointed, stuttering argument is cool.
I don't care.
I'm not looking into you about the way you talk. I'm just saying, dude, you've been talking for 5 minutes, bro. You've been talking for 5 minutes.
Jason.
You've been talking for 5 minutes, man.
I was talking to Jason.
You just been talking and talking.
They lost and something he made up. Like they didn't do anything wrong. They verified the damn signatures. He's saying they didn't verify. He's balking over the fact that the verifications didn't, on average, take longer than a few seconds. Like that's some kind of smoking gun. On average, they didn't all take less than a second.
The calculations proves that they spent less than a second.
No, they don't.
Where did you get these calculations from?
On each signature.
They got them from like the court case, the details of the court case. He's misrepresenting them, and that's what I'm calling out.
Can you give me the court case so I can look into it myself?
I forgot what it was called. I think he can.
What was the court case called?
They really did look it up yourself. We read it together and everything.
I'm asking you.
Look it on your phone. You got all the answers. Find it yourself.
Hey, Black, will you do a quick synopsis of what the verification process was that he's misstated?
To be honest with you, it's vague, but basically there was some kind of like calculation that was germane to the arguments given in the case, and so they calculated like the amount of time that on average it would take to do a signature verification, because one of the arguments was that the amount of time possible wasn't enough to do so that was like one of the arguments, and then they did like the calculation, the estimated calculation about how much time it would take, and then they ruled that it was enough time to do signature verification. So that argument got debunked, but Christian contends the opposite is true, and that because he took that L, he's saying that the blame falls on the legislature of the state to not change the law, which is a weird argument, but it's circular reasoning basically. But my memory of the details details are so vague that I don't think I can do a good job of like summarizing exactly what the nature of the calculation was without the actual court case. And I don't remember what it was called. And honestly, I gotta go to bed soon, so I'm not going to be finding that tonight. The sad thing is the room that we went over this in, the time went over, and so my recording was not saved. Because otherwise I would have just played it for you guys. So I'm sorry, what?
Job we lost. The saying it's rigged allows the Republican Party to not have any critical thinking for why they lost in 2020. Just no critical thinking. It's a cop out.
There is no Republican Party anymore. It's MAGA.
I mean, there literally is a Republican Party. It's called the Republican Party.
Well, what I'm saying is it turned into just MAGA. That's what I'm trying to say.
Significantly contaminated the Republican Party.
Oh,
contaminated the Republican Party.
Oh, completely. I think completely.
That's what I'm saying. They're mostly MAGA. It's still the Republican Party. It's just been taken over by MAGA.
Folks who just want to tear it all down.
I mean, shit. I do say tear it all down. Tear down the party. Create a whole down. Tear down the party. Create a whole new party. Because Republicans, they don't have Republican values as they once did.
Yeah, that's not the Republicans I know. I think Marshall's right. Most of the Republicans I know hold their nose and vote for Trump. They're not mad.
Yeah, that's good. That's the thing I was trying to say.
So let me ask you something, Marshall. What makes a Republican?
You mean like what policy positions? Because as far as I'm concerned, you're asking about policy positions. Supporter of the free market, supporter of the military when it suits it. Let's see what else. A belief in helping business out. A belief that the immigration system needs to be repealed. I don't like the draconian way Donald Trump's doing it. That's been a fairly traditional part of the Republican Party for like 25 or 30 years. So those are a couple of things I think they stand for. If I were to go to the party platform, I'd give you a lot. Off the top of my head, that's just one of them. Also, Republicans almost unanimously support the Second Amendment. Some may, like myself, think that certain organizations are okay. Because the Second Amendment is traditionally the moderator attached to the Republican Party. What else?
It's almost just like
one policy-wise, there are two factions. One which is a direct intervention faction, and one which is we're going to get involved, but we're just going to say we're not. So, and that's all I can think of off the top of my head. I'll go back and look at the platform stuff.
Yeah, no, I get it. I was more so referring to the original Republicans, not the Republicans of 30 years ago.
You're talking about traditionals in the 1850s when the party was founded?
Yeah, where they were against slavery.
Yeah, they were called radical Republicans quite frequently.
The civil rights for Black Americans.
Yeah, so.
They're not. The Republican Party now, I'll say MAGA. I won't say the Republican Party. I'll say MAGA is. They don't like Black Americans. If you look through Twitter or social media, YouTube, like, what's his name? You know Charlie Kirk, right? He went on and on. He didn't want to let no one talk, and he was so citing false statistics and voter fraud in the 2020 election. Even the judges that Trump appointed dismissed it.
Oh yeah, that's
Wait, there was no voter fraud, or there was no evidence of voter fraud? There's voter fraud every election. Found that the claims were without merit and lacked evidence. Yeah, there's no evidence of voter fraud. I think we can all agree voter fraud does exist. No, it does happen, just not on a wide scale, I'll say that. There's always shit can be tampered with. But
May I throw out my 2 cents? I'm Canadian, but I think what I'm about to say definitely applies to my own country as well. When I'm talking with Americans here on this app, like, I don't know a single Democrat or person that says they're Democrat. I don't know a single Republican, people that identify themselves that way, that actually fully agrees with everything their parties do. Like, there's not anyone that's like, I'm wholeheartedly everything that this party does is awesome. Like, it's rare that you run into people like that. And I honestly think that what we need in Canada as well it's not just a political shift, but it's like an overhaul of the system. I think it's like the hierarchy and the greed, like a lot of people, whether you're on the left side or right side, and there's a gap between the public and the people at the top. I really feel and stuff like that. We're like fucking idiots. They're just siphoning off all the money.
I'm gonna have to disagree with you on one point. 2 cents is like you said. You said, can I get my 2 cents? I'm like, 2 cents? Come on, there's inflation. It should be like 2 quarters.
Yeah, I think that's the goal. And I think a lot of these, I don't know. Have any of you guys lived like outside of the country for a long time? For any like years?
Never had the option.
No. Anybody?
Yeah, why? Where are you at?
Oh, okay. Well, Elliot, because where people can kind of relax and like leave their wallet and leave their bikes out, and that's kind of the goal. Like in China, where you pay $35, right? And you can stay 24 hours at this place, and it's like hundreds of people in there. It's like, so you go in, and then you take off your outside clothes, but you basically walk around in this giant spa place in your pajamas and flip-flops. Like, very, it's like they had one of these things under, in the basement of the Busan airport, and everybody's like being respectful, no crying, nothing like that. And for me, that's kind of like the goal of society, where you can get to a level of like trust and civility in different countries around the world, probably not just Asia, but there's not all this crime and action and like heart thumping action, violent news, and it's not perfect, like no way at all, but that's kind of the goal for me. I don't know.
That's come back to the just city. There's lots of ways to answer that question, but we're all trying to get there in our own kind of way. But you ask me, like, you gotta.
Where did you live?
It's gotta be.
Where did you live?
I was in the military, so I was in Korea, Germany, stuff like that.
Did you find their cultures to be like more mellow, more relaxed than in North America?
Not really. I mean, where I was were large metropolitan areas, and I also, no matter where you are, it is like very urbanized. You know, more more liberal, but larger. Yeah, so the experiences weren't terribly dissimilar from my point of view. But I guess if you get into like the other areas, like like the outskirts of town, or like the
start to see like big differences.
But I guess in Germany and Korea, like you wouldn't turn on the TV and like, oh, 6 people were shot today or something like that. Like that sort of thing is so incredibly rare, right?
In Korea, yeah, it's very rare.
And in Germany too, it's pretty fucking rare.
Well, back to the economic fairness. What else? Yeah, I guess that's
like a media system.
Answer that question.
Yeah, I think a media system that doesn't like emphasize differences or emphasize trauma, you know.
Germany that will come and push us to come to agreement. Bibi is crazy. He wants this war not to finish. If this war is finished, he's in jail. You know it. Very soon I have to finish. I just come to listen, but they always want to.
So I'll give you an example. Do you remember Ehud Olmert? Do you remember Ehud Olmert? Yeah?
But I'm in a problem. But what do you say about that?
He just added fuel to the fire. Why would you open a room without a... I'm just kidding, man.
No, how can people be so immature? I don't know.
Did the room go good? Did you guys have a good cup? Huh? Wasn't the one today?
I'll tell you why, I'll tell you why. Because in order for you to know that it is different from the other principles that
they impose more sanctions, more ethnic cleansing, and more war crimes being pushed under the rug. So,
wait, what did you guys get out of it deal? You gave up the territory.
Nothing. Yeah, we got nothing out of the country as like a puppet in the region. It's just bad news all around. We have no like winning dog in this race, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Our land, and it's funny because like Azeri patriots in their country are really fucking upset.
They're really fucking tired now. That's it. Talia kicked Monica out the fucking room, right? And there ain't no rule where she can do that. She just did that shit. She just did it. So why the fuck do we respect rules that don't exist?
That's a fact. I agree.
Yeah. This is fucking women. This is women pretending to be in charge of shit they ain't actually in charge of.
Do it, toxic. Bring her up.
He's like a hater because I'm fucking gorgeous. Look at me.
Monica brought her up.
But otherwise, I am fucking perfect. I'm fucking gorgeous. I would be jealous too of me if I wasn't. I'm just saying. Anyway, hi.
Whose fucking PTR is that, Shasha?
That's Cheryl 7. She's a beautiful lady.
I like your face better, Shasha.
Why did Monica get kicked though? Why did Monica be?
I don't know. I think it was just
Monica moved Kylie down.
No, but there ain't nothing in that rule. I read the rules twice. There ain't nothing in that rule that say you can kick somebody. She did it. Those are the rules that she wrote.
Mods
it's autocratic.
Mods are not allowed to mod other mods. That's like one of their rules. You can't moderate a mod. It's crazy.
It don't say that in the rules. It said we gotta mod Monica when we're main door. That's what I've been doing. So I'm like the worst to Monica. But I made a deal with Monica that she came back and occupied Nathan. We wouldn't get that Becky bitch back. But that was beautiful.
Oh, you
brand new Becky. She didn't say anything.
Dude, my frame rate dropped so low. I was doing good, but then my frame rate.
Yeah, I see the skips too.
Yeah, dude, and then I'm doing it in VR, so it like really fucks with me, bro.
What a fucking crackhead.
Man, you
That's a
really
fact.
So?
Yeah, she lives among crackheads, so she definitely knows.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I'd rather listen to a bunch of retards every day to.
Yo, it's entertainment when I'm at work, when we have the most interesting people on this app come in here screaming their heads off.
Good night, Lincoln.
You can't leave after we roasted you and trolled you. You can't do that. You gotta stay awake.
No, my girl's getting mad at me. No, my girl.
Lincoln, hold on. No, get off.
You got
No, don't let her control.
Looks like you. No, get off. Dude,
Yeah,
we'll talk to you another time. And that's that.
Yeah, what's up?
Hey, yo, this guy reminds me of you from the show I watch. Hold on.
Why would you tell him that when he gotta leave?
PTA. Look at shy.
Let me see. Oh shit.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Can you see it? Damn, I think this wife called me.
Guys, there's a favorite link between space while speakers. It's everyone here.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
Check them out. Appreciate the ones that have. Thanks, Teresa. Thanks for the stage. You sound tired. You've been going long.
Looking like a YouTube short. Medium that's fucked up.
Indian. He's not Indian.
Congressman with us tonight. John Kitover. He was the one telling us to stop talking about Israel and don't be a Jew hater. But go ahead, Prashant.
No, I'm telling you to stop complaining about the Jews. You're a bunch of complainers.
Okay, John, you can tell us about it and then we'll go right to you. Thank you. So I'm sorry, Prashant, go ahead.
Anybody hear me? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of thoughts. One is there's a little bit of good, what I considered a little bit of good news today. One of the longest diehard, no matter what happened, supporters of Trump, that a lot of people probably know, he said today that Trump should resign. And I thought that was great progress because this man was diehard, no matter what Trump did, he supported him. Today, he said Trump should resign. So I won't mention his name unless Truth asks me, but trust me, this guy was one of the biggest, longest term, no matter what, supporters of Trump. And this guy said in Suleiman's face that Trump should resign. So I think that's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, by all means, go ahead and say it. You can say who he is.
It was Doc.
Oh, Doc. Okay, he's come that far, huh?
He's come that far.
He's a Dodge mega guy.
So anyway, that was the one point I wanted to make. It's sort of a small point, but important in my mind. The next thing I wanted to say is I've heard people mentioning BlackRock, and so BlackRock getting a hold of that land is a disaster if it happens. And to have Trump support them in that process just says Trump is really not doing anything good for the American people anyway, which most of you know. So that's what I wanted to say. BlackRock getting a hold of that fertile land in Ukraine is a disaster for Eurasia and the world because they'll ruin the soil. And we got to do better.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. But they want to be in charge of the agriculture because we know who loves selling farmland, right? Besides Bill Gates. And I think it was Henry Kissinger who said it best: when you control oil and resources, you control the country. When you control food, you control the people, right? So you really want to control the food for multiple reasons. So Congressman John, welcome back to the panel. Hope you're well. Go for it.
Yeah, I don't know. People are claiming that Trump's, Washington, D.C. Deployment of, reserve or National Guard forces is a deflection from the Epstein files. And, I think eventually pick and choose.
What happened today? What are your thoughts on Washington, D.C.?
Yeah, I looked at the crime statistics from the Metropolitan Washington, D.C. police website. And to me, when they say that there's like a 25% drop, that's ridiculous. It's still too much. It's out of control. And then other people say that the statistics are fake anyways. So to me, I say deploy the National Guard. I was in the National Guard, and I would gladly have gone and performed functions and duties and worked with police. So I know firsthand that there's a willingness by National Guardsmen to help protect the cities. So I think it's a great thing, and I hope he rolls it out to Chicago, San Francisco, Los Angeles, and any other U.S. city where sanctuary cities are harboring illegal alien invaders. That's my opinion.
They said the intention was to deal with the homelessness problem, and I was able to check to see what the level of homelessness is in Washington, D.C., and also, of course, the crime rate. They claim the crime rate is at 30-year lows. They claim the stats are fake. So you're of the opinion that Trump's intentions today behind deploying 800 these National Guardsmen was for altruistic reasons to help clean up the city of crime and the homelessness problem. Is that it?
I would say that it's more of also there's a political approach and a communication approach that this is our capital, and if we're going to start fixing the problems in America, the capital is most likely a good place to get started.
Why do you think he waited until now in terms of the timing before meeting with Putin? Do you think that had anything to do with it? Did he want to maybe present good optics, or could there have been ulterior motives?
I didn't really think about the Alaska Putin meeting with regards to deployments in Washington D.C., but I just think that this is long overdue, and I hope he rolls it out to all major sanctuary cities.
Okay, what do you think? What are your expectations from the Trump-Putin meeting on Friday in Alaska?
I'm not sure. I really don't know what will come out of it. I don't think anything.
The problem with Zelensky is he's already out of term, right? His term expired in the last May. He was trying to extort America for $5 billion to do an election.
Stop borrowing, stop spending. We're spending $7 trillion a year. We collect $5 billion in tax revenue. We are literally the biggest suckers on the planet. People flood, and it's a great human tragedy. And I pray to God that Russia and Ukraine can de-escalate and end this insane, barbaric war.
Okay. So one other revelation I had on MySpace a few days ago. Eyewitness claims that she's seen Epstein 3 times in years.
I don't think it's true. I think he got whacked in prison, and I think Bill Barr knows exactly, maybe who did it, but it's a cover-up, and he's dead.
Okay, well, there is the testimony of the one prison guard that claims that 10 minutes before bodies were swapped out, and that Epstein was taken to some medical center, and then we don't really know where he is now. There have been perhaps video imaging of him in Lebanon, also in Thailand. Most of that stuff before. Can't really say for sure, but apparently he's had some work done. He looks more like Jordan Peterson now, according to what the witness claims. So I don't know, but apparently he's in not far away from the Tampa area in Florida hanging out. Can't say for sure though, but that's what the witness attests to. And she swears by it.
Maybe he's in Tel Aviv on the beach. You never know.
Well, there is MC2 is still active there, right? That's the modeling agency that Epstein invested in with Jean-Luc Brunel in Miami. They also had a brand in New York, and now it's been converted into the source. They rebranded, but MC2 is still active in Tel Aviv, so we don't know for sure. And there's also then the agency called One Mother that Jean-Luc Brunel was associated with in Ukraine. So it seems like there's just 1 degree separation between all these human trafficking fronts. By the way, do you think Trump's doing enough to combat human trafficking?
I know the FBI is posting a lot of tweets about, and there's news about bringing down large human sex trafficking rings, rescuing children, arresting huge dark web pedophile websites. So I think that the FBI is doing great work. I think Cash Patel and Dan Bongino are doing what they can do.
Okay. Think you can relay a message to Trump that when he meets Putin, maybe they can have a chat about Ukraine as to why the mayor of Kyiv, Vitaly Klitschko, owns over 100 brothels, and he's very well known for human trafficking, and why that guy's in a position of power? Relay that to him?
You really think he's running brothels? You think he's in the prostitution business?
So Diana Panachenko is the #1 journalist in Ukraine, reported on this, former heavyweight boxing champion, him and his brother Vladimir, very well known, by the way, PhD guys, they're intelligent, so yeah, they're absolutely behind it, and she fact-checked it, she's there on the ground.
Well, if you say so. To me, he seems like he's got some credibility that I don't think he would be involved in that kind of stuff. But what do I know?
Well, allegedly Hulk Hogan was also a human trafficker. That wouldn't really have the reason to do it.
Well, hey now, don't say nothing about Hulk Hogan. One of these Hulkamaniacs is gonna come run you down.
Well, I don't fear Hulkamaniacs, and may Hulk Hogan rest in peace. Apparently, he was one of the good ones, according to what she says. She has no gripe against him. There's no hard feelings. She didn't even want to sue him or seek any type of compensation. Fair enough.
You can tell if a person is good or bad by shaking his hand, John. No, come on.
No, I'm just saying, if you meet somebody, you form a first impression, and to me, it was a positive experience. That's what I'm saying.
Well, how'd you feel about the whole Gawker lawsuit that he slept with his friend's wife, and then Gawker released that video? Of course, mocked him, and he sued successfully. And it was Peter Thiel that financed the lawsuit. By the way, it was millions, and he got like 40 million plus because of the released sex tape.
Well, I think Peter Thiel, that was his revenge for being outed as being like an elite homosexual. So, I'm not a big Peter Thiel fan, and this is the legal and industrial complex screws over
Stargate. So how do you feel about Palantir?
It's a big one. Their market cap is what, 200 billion plus now, 300. I don't even know what it is, but
stock's up over 500% because it's like when you say that's like communism, though, a government providing that kind of funding towards Palantir, and they're showing revenues that are really just based on government spending.
Yeah, like we're spending $7 trillion a year, collecting $5 trillion. If we could just spend $5 trillion a year and maybe cut spending and pay down the
entity, just seems so powerful. That, they've got Consensus, which is formerly Blackwater. They own Yahoo. They own Caesars Entertainment. They own restaurant brands. Should so much power be concentrated in the hands of a few? Leon Black, Josh Harris, Mark Rowan, the founders.
I don't know them, but there are. I could list 10. Investment banks, and they have a lot of money. They make a lot of money. The asset management and financial services industry is a huge business, and what can you say? They make a lot of money, but so does energy. People's utility bills are up 200-300% this summer. There's no regulation there. Meanwhile, Democrats in Chicago are going to prison for blackmailing ComEd employees and vice versa. So corruption is everywhere.
He monitored $58 billion between 2012 2017, and they had a dispute in 18, stopped funding him. He also settled a lawsuit with the Virgin Islands for $62 million for alleged rape of a minor. Still in power, no reprimand, no jail time, nothing. The DOJ is not going after him. But I specifically mentioned Apollo because they also own what was formerly known as Blackwater, which is a private military contractor that's been implicated in fact, 4 of the members have been convicted of crimes committed in places like Iraq and the Niger massacre. Trump pardoned 4 of those individuals that were actually jailed for their crimes. They've also been accused of both human trafficking and also arms trafficking and even narco trafficking, and yet they're owned by this massive entity that's never really been audited or questioned for the assets that it owns. Specifically, the private military contractor should it be owned by this particular corporation that has ties to Epstein?
I really don't know. I would just say that my uncle is a big conspiracy theorist about the Federal Reserve, and he believes that, the Federal Reserve is responsible for a lot of major conspiracies, you could say, but it's really the member banks. So there is this tie-in between the banking industrial complex, the military industrial complex, the political, legal, the medical. I mean, what's the difference? I don't know if you ever saw the movie with, I think it's called Limitless, where...
Listen to your uncle, John.
Yeah, your uncle's a wise man. I spend more time with him, but I love Limitless. It was a great movie.
Yeah, meaning...
Still not going to take MZT, but...
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, money doesn't care what industry it's in, whether it's big pharma, military, you get in, you get out, and you move where the biggest ROI is. So investment banking is agnostic with regards to, where the money is. And it's one giant interconnected system.
Yeah, fair enough. I just think that being a merchant of death, it's one thing though in pharma companies or there shouldn't be any private militaries. But that's just my proposal.
Well, if you're anti-death and anti-war, I mean, the U.S. government kills 60,000 babies.
Yeah, but abortion's already banned at the federal level. It's It's just the states. I think only 28 states is where it's legal, right? So that's already been sorted.
No, Medicare, Medicaid still funds it.
Abortion should be banned, but they're not. It should be much more difficult to access, and people should be practicing, to a contractor that's been implicated and actually had convictions for crimes committed around the world, including Iraq, the Israel massacre. But those are my thoughts. That was my last point, and I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, happy to be here with you guys.
Thanks. All right, we can go to some. Hey, Tyler, do you have any questions for Congressman John? Maybe he's tied up.
No, I
already, but okay. Well, good luck to you. Hey, I think you should spend more time with your uncle and check out this book, The History of Central Banking: The Enslavement of Mankind by John Mitford Goodson, and discuss it with your uncle. I think you guys are lots to discuss on it. The Federal Reserve and the central banks in general are the ones behind a lot of wars. And here's a fun fact for you. The Federal Reserve was established December 24, 1913. World War I started about 6 months later. Supposedly assassinated a whole bunch of himself in order to suppress Russian hunger. Really believe a world war would have been started by a lone gunman, just like a lone gunman.
I think we should maybe pull up a Harlequin romance novel. Just see people's brains explode. Romeo was the Romeo.
Well, one of the things that we could do is we could do a reading of Huck Finn, and when people complain about it, that's something that can go viral.
I kind of fired off. Cut off the answer. Prashant, did you want to add anything?
I think so. I hope as a congressman you're aware of that. And of course, one of those places is Israel, and they're probably one of the worst. They've created that because in reality, in 2022, the United States spent $4.5 trillion on healthcare, and we're the sickest nation of all developed nations on the planet. So should you become a congressman, I think that maybe you should consider addressing the fact that our medical system has nothing to do with health and everything to do with profit. That theme where my conversation started. And I'll say that a little bit about what I'm talking about. And the next point I'm going to make is our agricultural system is all about profit. It's not about healthy food, which leads to the fact that we are the sickest of all developed nations on the planet. So should you get elected as a congressman, I hope you will address our for-profit, not healthy food agricultural system, because it's a disaster and it'll destroy us. Sickest population of all developed nations on the planet, and it starts in the farm field. And then the medical field, as I said, has nothing to do with health, has everything to do with profit. Let's go to one more. Our food production system, separate from agriculture. We got the most trash, garbage food on the planet, probably in history. There's something that put in food is glutamate in an unstable and excess form. You know what glutamate does that's in the vast majority of our food in our grocery stores? It addicts people to food that's not good for them. And it's all about profit. You addict people to food so you can sell more food. Problem is they're addicting people to food that's not good for them, which again relates to why we're the sickest nation of all developed nations on the planet. So should you get into Congress, maybe you can call me sometime and I'll educate you in further details on everything I just said. And it's all related to profit. Our military is not about defense, it's about profit. Our agriculture is not about good food, it's about profit. Our medical system is not about health, it's about profit. And our food production, separate from agriculture, is not about healthy food, it's about profit. Why do I say all this? Because you mentioned profit. Profit is the God, and it's destroying us. We can make money on all of those four things that I pointed out and turn all of them around to serve us in the way we're supposed to. Forget about that. I'm 75 years old, John, and I haven't been to a doctor in 55 years because I've educated myself on what I just told you of our nation that are all for profit and that not a bit to do with being good for the people of the country. I just hope you'll address those things, John. Thank you for listening.
Yeah, I think the easiest way and the fastest way to address every single one of those issues is to stop borrowing and spending, cut spending by about $2.5 trillion, and that would eliminate almost all the profit. So, it would genetic seeds and Archer Daniel Midland, ethanol production. There's a lot of subsidies that go into these corporations to force them to do certain business activities which are not necessarily profitable, and it's all coming out of the taxpayer resources. So I think by eliminating borrowing and spending, we can eliminate all the bad, government controlled marketplaces that are existing. It's not a free market economy. We need freedom to optimize the economy, not government spending and borrowing.
Yeah, but in the case of Monsanto, you've got a monopoly in place that controls the seeds. And what's their history? They're the original slave traders. They're also involved in making chemical weapons, and now they're in charge of food essentially. And it's a monopoly that should be broken up, and there should be a free market economy, but there isn't when it comes to these certain corporations that have too much power, concentrated in the hands of a few. So it's beyond just cutting back on spending. It's also holding corporations accountable and trying to allow for some decentralization so there can actually be some competition for food, because these evil corporations are the ones that are causing the lower quality of food. And why shouldn't there be restrictions on fast food and stuff like that, on ice cream? And why shouldn't fast food chains exist, given that there's so much poison in their foods? And there's even a Rabbi Finkelstein, who admitted there's actually human meat in some of these beef patties in McDonald's, for instance. And isn't that a huge problem that should be addressed? The fact there's human meat in beef patties at McDonald's, and yet no Congress has ever looked into it. And it's the same McDonald's that also provides free food to the IDF, which is currently committing a genocide in Palestine. So I just see a lot of conflicts there in terms of the food industry in general. And, it's a huge problem. And America spends like over $4 trillion on healthcare industry, and as Prashant mentioned, sickest society in the world. Less than 10% goes towards what would you call it? It's medicine, not medicine, but it's like preemptive medicine. So it's efforts and endeavors towards trying to prevent people from getting sick in the first place.
Puts out Soylent Green burgers, but I didn't buy or believe Dr. Fauci, Dr. Bill Gates, and Joe Biden and Operation Warp Speed. It's a pandemic. It's a scamdemic. It has poisoned our people. mRNA spike proteins are causing countless amounts of health catastrophes for people. Federal employees, military employees, everybody was forced to take this poison. I think it's criminal. I would love to see arrests. I don't interest, doesn't deplete our treasury, and doesn't poison us at the same time.
All right, just keep in mind, America's a wealthy nation with tons of oil. It can easily go back to fracking, become a net oil exporter to generate revenue. There's also tons of oil in states like Louisiana. There's like 1.1 trillion barrels of natural gas that's getting exported. Could be used. Just that supply of natural gas could fuel America for the next 200 years, and then you could export the rest of the oil that's made. But, they don't think that way. Rather than be nationalistic, they're always thinking of other people's needs. So I think there's something to it to be more nationalistic and actually be MAGA rather than MIGA. Those are my thoughts, but we got a lot of hands. Just keep all that in mind. America's a very wealthy country. Source of tourism, source of forestry, tons of natural resources, mining as well. You can remove the bullshit EPA controls, mine for precious metals as well, and become self-sufficient and not dependent on even China to have to import those raw metals to be able to build the electronics and also, of course, weapons too. So although there's some manufacturing coming back because of Trump's efforts, like with Apple investing $600 billion, they still need the raw metals to be able to build, to build both the smartphones and also the tablets and laptops, etc. Just keep all that in mind if you make it to Congress. Good luck to you. Prashant, did you want to add anything else? Otherwise we'll go to another hand.
Yeah, just quickly, I was involved with an organization called Moms Across America, created by a woman named Jen Honeycutt. And she did a project last year, and she does a Zoom call every Monday for people from all over the country to come to her Zoom calls. And her project was to test fast foods in our country. They asked all of us, which was people from all different places of the country, to go out to McDonald's and to Taco Bell and to Burger King and to a number of the other fast food restaurants and buy them and send them to her. And she was going to take them to an independent laboratory and test them for content. She found that these fast foods, the McDonald's burger that I sent her from Hawaii, had 3 things in it. I wish I could remember all 3, but I remember 2. One of them was heavy metals, excess heavy metals, which is bad for our brains. 2 was birth control. Why would there be excess birth control in McDonald's hamburgers and stuff? And Egg McMuffins. And the 3rd thing I wish I could remember, but I don't. But you could find that report. And it was done again by just American citizens from all over the country, buying fast food, sending it to Zen Honeycutt, take it to an independent lab and tested that food for toxins. And the vast majority of fast food in this country is destroying the health of this country. And that's where so many people eat every day, which also again lends to the fact that we're the sickest of all developed nations on the planet. We're doing it all wrong. This was a test that I was involved in, and we did.
Johnny there? Johnny there?
Yeah. What was the question?
You take any money from AIPAC, the ADL, UDP, UJA, or any of the pro-Jewish lobbies, the pro-Israel lobbies?
No, I've taken no money, and I actually just got my adapter. I got my account set up today to start taking donations, and just opening a bank account to run for Congress is very difficult. The cards are definitely stacked against you, but no, I will not be taking any AIPAC money or any other organizations like the ACLU or Southern Poverty Law Center. This is pretty much a grassroots funded campaign. I'm funding a lot of it myself, and I'll be trying to fundraise here on X and Clubhouse and other platforms like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, etc.
All right.
Dude, that was my exact question, man. Thanks for asking that.
Sorry, I stole your thunder.
No,
Quick super chat.
Go ahead with the super chat.
I'll be quick. Pakistan is under Zionist dictatorship. Free Imran Khan, and thank you for speaking the truth. That's directed to me. Thank you, Pirate Smurf, for being an avid loyal listener. Appreciate it. And yeah, John, if you want to, you're welcome on the space anytime, by the way. I'll afford you the respect. And, it's tough out there, especially if you're not taking AIPAC money. If you're going to be up against some stiff competition, taken from the various pro-Israel supporters, and even though I know that you made the comments you did last time, you're going to be up against some fire when you start talking about foreign policy, and you want to be fiscally responsible, because none of them are.
Well, I'm running against Darren LaHood, who does take AIPAC money. And what's amazing about Grok is if you ask Grok to correlate open secrets, which is the FEC website API where you can see which corporations are donating or which PACs are donating, and you correlate that to the HR or the acts that Congress passes and the votes they make, it's not like an 80% correlation on their votes and the acts that Congress passes. It's 100% correlation. So Verizon, AT&T, Big Pharma, Big Health Insurance, all those acts that pass hundreds of billions of dollars to these mega corporations, it's all directly correlated to their votes. So that data is there. And the problem is nobody cares. Voters just do not give a shit that they don't get anything for their vote.
Yeah, that's why a big reason why many people are disillusioned with the electoral system at the moment, because they don't really see the point of voting for pre-selected candidates.
I thought that perhaps Trump was compromised, with all the truth, pray for the best, and you never know the worst, but it's really all just gossip and hearsay. So I really can't give you any definitive answer other than when I see Ghislaine Maxwell at Bill Clinton, Chelsea Clinton's wedding, they're in everybody's photos. So it's not like they just compromised a couple people. I mean, they were professional compromisers. So Ghislaine, to me, is the answer to the whole thing. I mean, she knows exactly what they were doing. She's sitting there in prison. I don't know why we can't, I mean, if this was a fascist dictatorship, if you really wanted to know the truth, you could put the screws into her hands and find out exactly what's going on with her and Jeffrey up to no good.
He deliberately is leaving out Trump and her DOJ testimony in order to get a pardon from Trump.
is really Trump that she's trying to protect. I think it's actually Bill Gates, as well as many others like Bill Clinton. I think there's a lot of other people that are probably more corrupted than Trump. So I don't think Trump is the primary. I think he's weighing up the total poll of who they have corrupted. I think Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Bill Gates, and let's say 10 other people have much more to protect. Donald Trump's got everything to protect too, but I'm just saying it's not just Donald, it's a lot of people.
Thanks, John. Should we do some hands, maybe?
Yeah, we can. Quick comment for you, John. Last night, it was already been the Nosh who believes that Jeffrey Epstein's blackmail has Congress trapped. So they're still trapped with the blackmail. That's why they're essentially beholden to those interests, and they fear repercussions should they betray it. So he's a legitimate Israeli intelligence directorate under, he was just second to essentially the leader of that, so they work right alongside the side. In fact, some say they're above the side. And he was Jeffrey Epstein's handler along with Rafi. So he's a legitimate guy who made these claims on the keep quiet on the Congress that we're currently discussing right now. How to make decisions they do on things like 4-8 policy. So still to keep going. Yeah, we can go ahead.
Also, guys, please follow Truth Tyler, Dimitri, everybody, Pablo, Ian, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. And yeah, support Truth. Yeah, thank you so much. Go ahead.
So we've also had a conversation. I don't know if because I was just making a point with the participants and his ring. I think there was a question on how they link to like what was their link and stuff. And it was like an health access initiative which was called CHAI. So they had something called CHAI, and it was like a program, and it had so this thing was in the same place as where the labs and Italy links were. And I think, I don't know, while they kept doing a lot during 2004, 2005, when the Pentagon released something called the Cooperative Threat Reduction Program. Sorry, that's early. So they had these weird institutes, and they had one of them was Kharkiv, and then they had Lviv and Odessa as well. So, which was like an anti.
If you got it off, it's me.
And you did. Oh, she had a glitch. She dropped down, listener. Let's go to the next hand. Exceptional. And I see.
Yes.
Hello.
Just so much to take in. And listening over the last several days, it's enlightening. It's horrific. I am a part of a group of parents in Virginia who fight for the rights and needs of special education kids, and we have been able to see how a whole lot of funding is taken from public education and used in nefarious ways. And so from a public education with somebody with children in the public school division, not everybody might have this on their radar if they don't have children in public schools and they don't understand the underground going on in there. But if you looked at the NEA and their conventions and Randy Weingarten and Becky Pringle, they're always screaming about money, money, money. And that's been very prominent since Trump came back into office, and they're not happy that Trump is getting rid of the U.S. Department of Education because it's mostly fraudulent grant funding passing around. And
just FYI, if APEC does want to send me money, I'll take the money.
How special education kids are treated, but also I'm looking and listening to what's been going on and what people are inputting from a global standpoint. And so from a local standpoint, I can also say that, and there's someone very close to me personally out of our group who used to be in Child Protective Services and got out because of the corruption, where Child Protective Services is the main funneler for children to be entered into the underground for pedophilia. There are the waste and fraud in funding, and what they're doing with it is insane. Tomorrow, actually today, there's a school board meeting. There are school districts that are accused of taking in the ELL population and sending them to abortion clinics. There's, especially since the pandemic, there's been obviously a push for the online learning, and I know personally that I have one child who has no education, which is a different matter, and another child who has been put on the laptops, and the stuff that they push them through, they teach them how to do illicit drugs. They push them through to things that look, very kid-friendly on the surface, and then they click to the next page, and it'll be teaching very young children how to perform sexual activities.
Here's a tell out. I just focused. But she would never attack. Like, she would never. She was not a reactor.
Full bred?
She was an American bully, so she was an American bully. But she was a what you would consider like a what is it called?
That might be my next screen name on here.
She had an incredible bloodline. It was a razor's edge, and in the American bully world, it was a very sacred bloodline. But yeah.
I mean, what's interesting with that locking of the jaw, I have a lab that if he gets a hold of something, it's just, I can't get it out. But his mouth is soft, but he's just, he's bringing something to me, but then I can't always get it out. But I don't think it's as strong as what you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's not what it is. The lockjaws and pit bulls and Rottweilers and a couple other breeds, where their jaw literally moves, like the bones will move and then lock into the other bones. It's very, very specific technique.
Wow.
Yeah,
that is a myth. You described it with a myth.
German Shepherds don't have that? It's not a myth. No, German Shepherds don't have it. Rottweilers and pit bulls, and then I can't remember. Somebody said there's 5 breeds. I don't know about 5.
I said 5.
Yeah, there are a couple there's 1 or 2 others that I've heard of, but I don't remember what they are.
So it's completely different, and mine just holds on to it. Okay.
Very different.
Now I gotta Google this.
Don't do it. It'll make you more afraid of pit bulls.
Okay, so pit bulls and ducks, what are they called? Dobermans and all that. I've never once ever had been fearful of any of those. Little dogs, though, we had a little wiener dog when I was in high school that a friend of mine was walking out the door, saying bye. I don't know why, but this little dog, Patty, comes running from the living room. It was New Orleans.
Oh, sorry, man. It was an accident.
Sorry, but you say they won't go inside no more. Injured spirits or some damn thing that say they're causing the cave-in. You're the one doing the talking. That's right. Anybody else want to negotiate? Yep. They don't even speak English, Butch. I think they understood. Now go show them there's nothing to be afraid of. I have to ask twice. I've been thinking, why don't we just hang out with Harry and get out of here? Yeah, we're already rich, right?
That's great. I think I waited 20 years.
I'm taking over!
Turn your back on them, or don't attack them, like go at them, you're fine. Okay? They feel threatened, or they feel threatened with their pups. So, William, I definitely would advise you not to take my word for it, but I'll read you the prompt too. So, just real quick, is lockjaw a real scientific thing in dog breeds? Example for like pit bulls, where bones may lock into each other. Provide citations and scientific evidence to support the claims. No, lockjaw is not a real anatomical or physiological trait in pit bulls or any dog breed. Here's what credible sources say.
Just ruined my young adult life.
Right? I mean, why is that misinformation out there then? This is so
There is
That's been out
a
there for
story that explains why the myth keeps perpetuating itself.
Okay, what's that story? Why does the myth keep perpetuating itself?
They're just fear mongers. People. Oh, David. Oh, sorry, I didn't know you.
So, no, you go. I'm looking it up. I saw the headline. I got to read it.
No, I just I got big into like BSL years ago. Obviously, when I was an active, I walked around with her, and it was incredible that so many people, places, all of this started. It bleeds into institutions, it bleeds into insurance companies, and it bleeds into apartment complexes and how you can have a dog. And in some places, they make it apartment complexes got so scared about the whole thing that they just put like a 35-pound limit on dogs just so they could avoid any type of larger breed dog. But anyway, it's just fear, right? And dogs obviously have a natural propensity to potentially be dangerous.
Their jaws are so strong, it looks like it's locked. And it started in bullfighting. The dogs would lock onto the bull and they couldn't be thrown off.
Well, yeah, but it's not just the strength of the jaw, because a pit bull does have a strong bite, but like a mastiff is like 2 to 3 times as strong.
Exactly.
And you don't hear like a mastiff. It makes sense if you've ever seen a mastiff's head. It looks like a fucking horse. But nobody ever talks about the strength of the bite of a mastiff.
I think that live next door to me, they're ridiculously. I mean, they're horses.
Abby.
Yeah.
Do you know what a Caucasian? It's called a Caucasian.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
Ovcharka, a Caucasian ovcharkas.
The ones that killed. Are those the ones that killed in San Francisco? The mold. Is that the breed?
I'm not sure, but my mom has this crazy Russian friend, like straight from Russia type thing, and she breeds them. And her ovcharkas go deer hunting in their backyard, and she constantly has deer. I'm like, what the heck?
Wait, I think that's the breed. This is so weird that you're saying this. I was just at the Jersey Shore, and there's a farm, that has like a farm store, and like it's a lot of people go there. It's like right near the beach, but kind of out a little bit, and attacked it and killed it. And this lady who has the farm is like very, yoga, like natural. She fired the guy that was walking the dog that did the attack, and there's this public apology about it. I have to find the article, but it's that dog, and it I guess they had it to protect something about protecting the farm area, and I'm looking for it now. But aggressive, I guess.
What was that big one you were talking about? We were talking about before the ovcharka, the one that's so big like a horse.
Mastiff?
The mastiff.
Yeah, the bull mastiff. I had a customer had a bull mastiff, and they're gentle. I mean, they have a tiny house too. This dog took up the whole room, and they had a mailman that was like using their backyard to cut through, and he often, for some reason, didn't realize this, but the dog was out there one day, and he used the backyard as a bathroom also, and the dog saw him, and this dog held the mailman until like the owners came home. They wouldn't let the mailman escape. They looked at their camera and saw that the mailman had been visiting their backyard a lot.
I was wrong. It's an Anatolian Shepherd. that did the attack. Did you ever hear of those?
Yeah.
And I guess they're used to protect at farms. I have heard of the other one. And the one you're talking about, it's like, kind of looks bear-like.
Yeah, they do. They do.
Is it white?
Different colors, like tan and black, kind of like a brindle coat type thing, but not like a. It wouldn't be like a brush coat brindle. Like it would be like a bear coat brindle, if that makes sense.
My daughter has Sammys. She has 2 big ones. And they're really friendly dogs. But they're also, I mean, they're super furry, and they look bigger than what they weigh, if that makes any sense, because there's so much fur. But the dog I'm thinking of, what you're talking about, almost looks like a Sammy, only like different color fur, like frosted.
Yeah.
I've got to go look it up.
Something a bit related to what you guys are speaking about. I have, and I have this backyard that I let my kids go and play in the backyard when it's like, get out of here, go in the backyard and play. Is it appropriate to allow German Shepherds to be in the yard with misinterpret a signal or,
Like if you haven't even that fear, Gildas, I think you gotta remember that they're animals, and yeah, that's not. I personally wouldn't. You know what I mean? My girl though, my pit, I would with her because I trust her, but she had already proven that she's able to get all of those stimuli and not have the reaction. Loud noises, slaps, being rough with her, and that, but you'd have to be really, really attuned to your dog, understanding all the little bits, because it's so crazy to me that people can say like, oh, the dog just snapped. No, my sister went to school. We have a lot of people in our family like it. Just dogs. Everything's been dogs my whole life. My mom helped repopulate the Chinese Shar-Pei population years and years ago, like in the 70s. And I mean, like she did showing, she did, like AKC type judge work. So I've been around dogs, and it never made sense to me. Like every dog that I've ever been, I'm able to immediately pick out, who's dangerous and who's not, and who could be trusted. Like you sense it immediately. But that's someone like me who's been around dogs, ad noise, like so many.
Yuma, can I ask you a quick question?
Sure, go ahead.
So if your anarchist society was implemented and everything was decentralized, how do you think the pit bull population would fare in the new society?
Just as it fares now, what would be the difference?
Well, economically speaking, because the economy would probably, implode and deteriorate. Importing all that dog food from horses butchered in Canada, there might be a lot of import tax and duties on all that horse meat that goes into dog food. And because taxes go up, that might mean dogs eat less.
Very interesting.
Yeah, this took a weird turn. Hey, Gildas, I would say it has to do with the disposition of the dog and the disposition of your children in the way they interact with the dog. So teach your children, like you never come up on a horse without touching its backside so you know it's there. And dogs have similar things. There's areas you want to teach your children not to touch. There's ways you want to teach your children to interact with the dog. You'll know right away if you spend like an hour teaching them the things and watching them interact with the dogs, whether you can trust your children's actions towards the dogs, because the dogs are animals and they're responding to things. It's not as though your child is intentionally doing something that sets off the dog. So it really is the disposition of both.
Very angry.
In my opinion.
Are very expensive estimates, but it 5 and 3. Like, they can't even fucking, like, they just can't follow, like, a logical lesson from dad yet. They're almost there, especially the 5-year-old, but dogs are cool. But sometimes I send the kids out, and I'm like, I have to put the dogs away. Parenting from y'all parents, or did you just figure it out on the fly? This shit is difficult.
There's a book called What to Expect When You're Expecting.
It's crazy.
You figure it out as you go, and you're gonna fuck up. Guaranteed.
Goes program. They have a bunch of different programs, but it's called Love and Logic, and the interactive like this. There's like your own sanity and also respect.
It's kind of like when we bring up like scenarios of an anarchist society, and you can't answer any of the questions.
Well, that's the point of an anarchist society. The point is that the people decide, right? And it's to decentralize and have the best ideas rise to the top. So why it doesn't make sense.
Why would you assume the best ideas would rise to the top? Only the ideas that could be defended would rise to the top, and maybe those would be bad ideas.
I mean, I think for the same reason that you trust a federal constitutional republic in the United States right now. You trust people, the people next to you, to vote and then make good decisions. So the logic is the same. But Gildas, Love and Logic, check it out. A lot of YouTube videos, but the YouTube videos don't go into the details, but really good stuff.
I'm sensing there's a theme in this room that I didn't understand when I came in the room.
What's that?
I'll take you at your word, Bima. But now, maybe we'll become enemies. You support anarchy?
I support,
And she doesn't shave her armpits.
Okay, so he said that one day, and oh my God, Roger, he's hilarious. I don't know why he keeps saying that, but
and she hates Israel.
And that's not true either. But I mean, like, I do hate states, so there's obviously still very reasonable to keep.
Okay, so like quasi-anarchist, not full-blown, like, who wrote that stupid book from the French? Anti-whatsoever, where we just all live in our respective villages. And that's how we negotiate trade from that kind of a stance.
I don't think that we could, like, regress into something like that at this point. So there would be a lot of interconnectivity and crossing of institutions and stuff, you know what I'm saying? But they would be institutions. We just, choose them with and put our productivity in them because we agree and we align with those, those principles.
Pull up, everyone.
Oh my God.
Bima, have you ever read any works by the Invisible Committee?
No, what is this?
Maybe I'm more anarchist than you. Check out the Invisible Committee. I think they have 3 books. I've read all 3. I read all 3 years ago. But they were basically getting at the idea that we need to kind of, in my opinion, devolve into like, anarchist, fiefdoms. That's the best way to combat capitalism. Maybe you would classify them as like neo-Marxists. They don't believe that, like, capitalism must lead to the communist utopia. They're trying to like figure out why it didn't work that way. So they're like post-Marxists. But they believe that the Invisible Committee, they're out of France, like La Comité Invisible, or whatever the fuck, however you say it. But you can look them up. They have a Wikipedia article. Just kind of check it out. If you never read their work, that's okay. I
that's a common theme among anarchists. But
you know, it's a common theme that I've noticed is that when you ask an anarchist a question, they don't give you a straight answer.
it's because I keep saying it. It's the point is to not be able to answer for everybody. The point is to be able to answer for myself. You answer for yourself. You align with, like mind and approve with your people and build from there. But Gildas, that's really interesting. I'm definitely not an anti-capitalist. I like capitalism. Yeah, that might be. It's interesting, though. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you. Like,
well, I don't understand how you can be an anarchist and a capitalist. And I thought Gilgamesh. Sorry, I love that nickname for it. I thought Gilgamesh was doing opposition research, but it's interesting to find out that you were not a capitalist when you were young. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, absolutely. I wasn't a capitalist, but I wasn't a Marxist.
He was also a faggot when he was younger.
I wasn't gay. I've never dabbled with that. I'm not bisexual or anything.
Gildas, let me ask you this, Keith. I have a theory that every man remembers their first blowjob. Do you agree?
Yeah, now that I think about it, sure.
So you remember your first blowjob?
Yeah, definitely.
How long did it take you to make the guy come?
I thought the joke is, did you spit or swallow? Oh, no.
It didn't go down like that.
How did it go down?
What'd you do, spit it out?
No, there was a young lady who was giving me service, and I enjoyed it.
You're not getting the joke, Holmes.
No, I get the joke, but I'm just not playing into it.
Gotcha.
I get the joke. It's a funny one, but it is what it is. It kind of catches you off guard, but no, man, I'm heterosexual.
Kind of like shooting into the back of the throat, kind of just shock to the system.
Well, if you want to wipe the cum off your molars, you can do so, but I've never had that problem.
It makes it look like your teeth are melting.
Well, you would know. You're the expert here.
Yeah, I just want to say really quick before I have to go, but Bima, I've been in many rooms with you where I thought you were performatively aggressive, and I was like, I don't think if she's real or not. But after tonight, dude, I'm gonna follow you. I had to kill somebody off because that's the way it rolls. So somebody's gonna die, but then I can add you in. But you're really cool. Like genuinely, you're the kind of person I want to hang out with real bad. You're very cool.
Wait, who are you referring to there?
Bima.
Do you know that Bima earlier was defending a fucking terrorist?
Oh my god. So she says she has to go. Don't listen to that, Hillary. If you're ever interested in my views, you ask me. Definitely don't ever ask Roger. All I had to do was hear your views on animals, and I like you. People who are
Hillary, she literally was defending the guy that was running a room about sex trafficking and terrorism.
Okay, so first of all, I wasn't in the room for that, and second of all, what my comment was that every time I've been in that room, I have never seen Amir to be a hateful person, and I even had Ann back me up on that. He's been a very rational person. He lets everything come up and speak. People come up and speak. He provides, sources, and I really appreciate that as a host. People like to bloviate like myself and don't like to actually produce good concrete shit that you can read, and he does that. So I haven't heard him yet say anything.
He supports the IRGC. Well, what are you talking about?
I don't know what that means.
The IRGC, it's Iranian Republican Guard. This is the regime that allows young girls 8 years old to marry in Iran. Iran is also the country that exports and sponsors terrorism around the globe. They're the biggest Jew haters.